everyone. Hope you're doing okay. We've got quite a bit of stuff on the calendar, lots of economic events of high severity, so lots of US data, PMI from the UK, PMI from the Eurozone, Germany, so and Spain, less than 49 minutes. So it's going to be quite a busy day on the calendar, and we've got Powell talking as well. It's not going to be a long video. I just want to talk about the bubbles. We want to talk about the economic calendar, talk about the bubbles, and you can see the euro is weak, Aussie is strong, so Euro Oz would be a good short, and it has been a good short. I'll show you a chart, and this looks quite bearish. We're breaking monthly support 1 now, so let me show you that chart. Actually, let me find it. There you go. EA, let's bring that across. EA. Now, the trouble is with this is that it's really technically quite heavy, and we're breaking MS1 15177. It's big stop loss cluster down here, and you note below that there's not much. So I think this is going to be the final destination at 15130. We are a sell, and we have been for ages. We flipped at 50% here. So had you been patient and wait for the monthly pivot, you might have seen my video from earlier on in the week. It's a 650 pip move. Had you just waited for monthly pivot break after the 50% cross on the sentiment. Alright, so you know, that's a tick in the box. This would be a tick in the box. Admittedly, we did like spike monthly pivot, but we did break below, and it's like, wow. So just bear that in mind. We've got the bubbles were correct on this particular pair, so you know, it's worth checking the spreadsheet every now and again. A lot of these yen crosses are taking SLCs out, so there's a little stop loss cluster here. See that blue mark? Another one there, and it looks like they're going to move their stops higher. So the one above now for AJ is 85.10. Quite likely. You see Aussie is strong, yen is weakest. One below is 84. And of course the context here is the negotiations of peace and ceasefire. If we get a ceasefire in Ukraine and Russia withdraw the troops, we're going to have like a face melt rally on risk, and we're going to really rock it. So yen should dump fundamentally, and you know, sentimentally you can see this as a buy, because look, you can see the current ratio, and they shorted it on the 50% here, right about there. So it's a 200 point move there, so yeah, it's nearly 200. MR1 is 84.69, so if you did want to think about a long, that could be your stop loss, and you target the SLC above. You know, keep your stops close and know where to exit, so that could potentially be a trade. Fundamentally, sentimentally and technically it would be a buy. Monthly pivot's there. Alright, maybe EU, maybe because we did EA. You know that the euro bubble is weak, so there's that decline. That's that support that I thought might hold, but it didn't. It clearly didn't hold this area here, and so that line is 111.30. The one above is 111.45, 110.55. MS1 is there on the SLC, so maybe that might hold. We might grab that, and it might take out enough stops, because you know that the euro basket's a sell, so we should be hunting stops on euro. Okay, yeah, so keep an eye on that. If you just look at your chart, you can see there's an area of support here. If we go above, we might be fairly bullish. I mean, fundamentally we could be a buy, because the dollar should soften and the euro could probably appreciate. Alright, but sentimentally, you know, we are a sell. You can see GU and do UJ and maybe UC. GU, so this would be coming up because of, you know, the risk on nature of the market. 1344, 133.70. We are a sell, but they're selling it, so that's a mismatch. If they sell it, it will come up. and it will make that go closer to 50%, or maybe even cross over 50%, and it will be a buy at the high level. So it all depends what they do over time. So this is why this is more powerful, the dynamic. Monthly pivot's there, SLC's there, so maybe there's like a confluence resistance, and then down. You see, I was long this, and I'm glad I got out. It did fall. I wasn't sure whether or not it would continue to fall, but it did, so I'm really glad I got out. We are a sell, and they went long, so that was one of my warning signs why to exit. So you look at what the herd are doing, you know that they're wrong 80% of the time, and I saw them going long, so I did actually exit. And so the one above is 12655, one below is 125. Oh, it's 126, isn't it? Yeah, 126. So monthly support one there, monthly pivot there. So yeah, the FX math was okay this week. It wasn't as good as last week, but we still got today and tomorrow to go. If you remember yesterday, the FX math signals were risk off, and of course we're risk on because of that ceasefire peace negotiation. So it's a good job that the FX math software does orders, because it didn't actually trigger the orders for me. Had it done, I would have been at a loss, because you know they were risk off, and we're clearly risk on the fundamentals, especially if Russia withdraw as well. UJ, and this is probably going to go. This is probably going to rally. To be honest with you, this is going to do quite well. Like, they've got this sentiment. They shorted it. Monthly pivots here. Monthly resistance one is there. I think we might even break that and continue higher. One above is 115.81. One below is 115.68. So they're quite close. So we might chop and get both. But I think this is going to do quite well. We had that diagonal break situation. See these candle wicks, you know, and then we rocketed, fell, hit that support again. So you can see how accurate that is actually. Boom. So maybe there's something in that. It had to go up, come down. It would have taken those guys at break even, convinced it was going to fall, and so they shorted it there. So they might have got in, got to their break even, thought, oh, it is going to fall, so they sold it. Then, and there we go, and so that's why it came up. So there's a lot of trickery with the candles, but if you get an eye on the indicator, on the ratios indicator, you can see what's happening and know how traps are formed. So hopefully it helps. We've got Powell later, so it was quite good for the market yesterday. It was quite serene and relaxed, and I think that's what the market needed. We needed like a calm tone to settle the markets, and that's what Powell did. So he might do the same again today, and then we'll continue to be risk on. Keep an eye on the news and trade safely. That's all I can say. Maybe next week will be easier with the sentiment. It might be more sentimental as opposed to fundamental, because this week was very fundamentally driven.